Great. Well, happy Monday.
Yes, very much Monday.
Very much. So you're outside your facility now, and do you want to just briefly introduce who you are and what you make? And I'm excited to touch base on what it's like to be an emerging brand in Asheville and now
Totally.
sold in New York.
Yeah. So Gwendolyn Hageman, founder of Darë Vegan Cheese, cultured cashew cheese company, started in Asheville in 2019. And PopUpGrocer is one of our, I think, 5 New York City accounts, but bigger, much bigger. And we've already gotten some really cool reach with influencers from there. So yeah, excited to hear what you have to. Yeah, I want to hear what Ginger has to say about what she actually saw in person, but that will be helpful later.
Yeah. I can't wait to see her photos and videos. Hopefully she was there on Saturday. Where else are you in New York? What are the 5 other accounts?
So we've got Riverdale, which is a vegan specific cheese shop in Brooklyn, Orchard Grocer, another vegan specific. Green Pot is in Brooklyn. That's another vegan grocer. I'm sure there's others.
Are you shipping direct to accounts like that, or do you have a city distributor?
I would say the majority of our accounts that are not outside of North Carolina, really, we ship to everybody.
Okay. So you ship, is it overnight FedEx, cold boxes with ice, or how does that work?
Our shipping depends on the region. So we get different regions and different rates per region. So if we can, we ship ground as much as possible, because that usually will get there overnight. Definitely in North Carolina, South Carolina, there's certain regions that we can do ground and still get there in one day. We have a few accounts that we do 2-day because it's just vastly cheaper than overnight. And then there's some accounts that we just have to overnight to them.
Right.
And I extend that price to my customer. I have some ground shipping that I cover because we used to deliver to them. And so I just eat that cost instead of driving and, staff, all that. But it's cold chain shipping. We've got Green Cell is our insulator box. And then we do ice, and depending on how long it's in transit is how much ice it gets and how much we can fit in the box.
Mm-hmm. It's tough, right? I mean, there's always something, but you have cold chain. I have heavy liquids, sometimes cold chain. Like right now, I need to pick up some juice from Illinois and get it to the East Coast as quickly as possible. And I'm looking at all the ways, like, how do we avoid a reefer truck? Can we do overnight FedEx, and just weighing it all out? What do we need to pack the boxes with? So it's definitely tough. I think, I don't know about you, but when I started, I didn't think we have a vision and we don't think, oh, well, this is going to require this kind of shipping or this kind of truck or this kind of expense for freight. But it is, I guess I'm curious, how did you decide to go with PopUpGrocer and start working in Manhattan? And like, where do you see that going this year?
So that was Rachel with Botanical Bones actually was the first to mention it. She was thinking about doing it at the same time that the 3 of us are there, but wanted to, I think, see what it was for us, what it looked like with our, with more brands recognition around our brands. And then after looking at it, it seems like the perfect fit for our branding, our mission. It's like women owned. And we this year are trying to focus more on influencers to get the word out. And so it just seemed, I don't know, like the perfect place. And it's so cute. Like everything in there is a cute brand. Like everyone is elevated within there.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be part of that.
Agreed. I heard an interview, I think it was Ray Latif on BevNet, and he was interviewing the founder of PopUpGrocer, which is how I learned about it. I think it was only in maybe just a couple months ago or right before we applied. But I remember I was really interested that she said the selection is based on like a number of criteria in terms of the ingredients that's inside, but really it has to be beautiful, elegant packaging. and a certain demographic, and they don't actually taste the product before they make a decision. And I thought that was super interesting. I've never submit my products for review and not had them sampled. But I guess it is a good point that if someone's buying something for the first time and there isn't a tasting opportunity, they're going to buy for other reasons and hope it tastes good.
Right. Yeah. And I think you were also posted the other day by someone that was like in there specifically for clean ingredients. So
yeah.
I reached out to her.
Uh-huh.
I'm sending her samples this week because I wanted her to, have our whole line. She's got over 100,000 followers. So yeah, I was like, you found us. Do you want to try some more? And she was like, absolutely. So
that's a great idea. Yeah, we're chatting with her too. Yeah. So what are you planning to do with influencers? I mean, I assume you're targeting like plant-based or vegan foodies. And are you planning on paying, or do you do product swaps?
We don't have a system yet. Right now I'm trying to make Shopify collabs work.
Yeah.
Rachel says it works really well for her business. I haven't gotten much traction, I guess, from influencers interested in using that code versus just getting something for free. So if there's somebody that I very much want, I'm like, hey, let me send you product. I don't even negotiate anything else. I'm going to send you product for free. I haven't negotiated like what they have to do with the product. I'm just hoping that they'll post about it, maybe we should have that, like some type of contract. We'll see how the first couple ones go, but I don't know. I don't know what tactics have you used before?
Yeah, we did a big batch in, I want to say December. And so just about 6 months ago, we got tons of boxes out, and the expense associated with that. With this kind of hoping mentality of like, wow, like what did we ask for? We're not paying. But I had someone helping me with that, and she was really great with engaging and following up on the boxes. And some people just naturally mentioned and tagged us, and then others, we never heard anything, and we've been following back now. But it taught me, and even now, like I think they became consumers, many of them, and just never mentioned how much they love it, just didn't take the time to do that. And so now we're doing another outreach. It's been really successful, and we're doing a lot of product trades, but we do specifically ask, we have an affiliate program. We ask, like, in what way would you like to plug in? Would you like to become an affiliate and make a commission on future sales? Or do you want us to just send you product when you need it? And in exchange, what do you feel comfortable doing for us? Do you want content ideas, or is there something, you're excited, like a trend that's happening, you're excited to try with our product? Or so I think we still need to refine that and create more clear guidance, just so assumptions aren't made. It's a work in progress. But I know Rachel, I mean, speaking of Rachel and Botanical Bones, like her Instagram is amazing. And I think most of that is organic content with other creators, which is amazing. But like there's something really unique, and I want to share this with other female founders in other parts of the country. And that's why I wanted to talk with you and Ginger too, because there's something I think really unique about Asheville being a supportive area for entrepreneurs in general, but really like a very strong female founders network. And we actually have quite a good number of CPG female founders in Asheville, I think. I mean, I can think of at least 20 in my mind that we communicate with regularly with our meetings. Yeah, it's
inspiring.
Yeah, it's a pretty small city too. So I don't know what it is about this area.
I think it's just the community that it's not like there's some divide between, there's not like, corporate America. I think the kind of footprint that corporate America does to big cities and kind of differentiates men and women in that it doesn't exist here. It's more like grassroots community based. And so it's more supportive, you know, there's not this like immediate barrier. And then, yeah, the programs that foster us and the people that we meet that continue to inspire us and push us along and give us ideas. It's a community. It's not, where nobody's against each other. It's the coolest feeling.
I don't know. There's definitely the friendly competition I think is important. But yeah, and there's something about, I think, the quality of life in Asheville. You know, there's a lot of chatter in the industry about like mental health issues with founders and entrepreneurs and the struggle around that. And not to say it doesn't exist just because we live in Asheville, of course, it's so hard. It's like a daily work. But I think there is such a great opportunity for finding more work-life balance here and just like being in such a beautiful environment in nature. And so many people are moving here for the quality of life and bringing their jobs with them and just, or coming to visit and deciding to stay. Because it's like my husband and I were saying yesterday, it's just easy here. It's almost, compared with some places, it's easy to get around. It's easy to park. Like it's just, you know, the flow of traffic, like you can work from home if you want, but get outside every day. And so I think that's really special too. And it probably breeds more of this like better for you natural product environment too, I think, which is maybe it's a good thing, but then I also forget like so much of the population in the US doesn't necessarily have access to the same kind of stores that we have or products that we have. And we're building these kind of premium, organic, all natural plant-based products. Like there's certain parts of the country I'm not sure if it's going to vibe with. How do you feel about that? And what are your plans for expansion in other parts of the country?
I don't have any interest in the middle of the country, if I'm fully honest. I just the outskirts, the edges is where we've kind of saturated. We're in 41 states, so that's all organic, like through fair or they get us on fair and then they want to get direct because they want our full product line. But yeah, I would have never reached out to someone in like Hawaii and been like, do you want our cheese? But it's in Hawaii now. So that I'm totally happy to continue to grow our shipping channel. We've got that down pat at this point. It's a little bit pricier. It's not as economically or environmentally clean as I'd like to be, but that's kind of, you know, society is instant gratification. So getting that product immediately on your doorstep, that's not going away. So we'll continue to grow that for sure. And then for distribution, I don't think I'm interested in going national. I prefer technically GFI, our large distributor right now, could get us national. We've got like 10 to 20, I would say, warehouses across the country. But because of where we're so saturated on the East Coast, I'd much rather be a regional brand from like Florida to New York, honestly, because California is kind of like a large Asheville, I guess. They have more money, great lifestyle, and it's just so hard to get things over there unless you sign with. For us, it would be Unify, and I'm just not interested. So you know, the growth, how to grow direct to consumer and shipping and supplement with distribution, not plan all of the meat of our business being, you know, growth through distribution. Yeah.
So you're primarily, so when you say 41 states, is that B2B or you're shipping to consumers in that many states?
That's B2B. I'm sure I'm sure we've shipped to all 50 states, I would
Yeah,
say, for direct to consumer.
that's through fair.com, B2B mainly.
Yeah.
Wow. What is it? I wonder the cost to ship to Hawaii. We've gotten some requests on Fair. I really like fair.com.
I do
Definitely.
too.
Yeah, it's a great way to meet retailers that we wouldn't otherwise have access to. But yeah, the shipping to Hawaii, I don't know, does Fair cover that or?
I'm pretty sure Fair extends that to the customer, which I have some customers that come to us direct, which is always more helpful because I can max out a box so that they're getting as much product as they can and paying the shipping to get it there. But I'm pretty sure Fair doesn't have anything to do with covering shipping. It's extended to who's it's going to. They do cut off shipping though. If
They cut off, yeah, I think they'll cover for the first 12 months a new account.
Okay.
If we bring them in direct through our referral link, and then I think at 12 months it changes over. But there's some other interesting platforms online that we're looking at too. There's a new one we're doing for non-alcoholic beverages, just more like specialty to reach other retailers. So
And what experience have you had with pods so far?
we just got started. Yeah, I don't have enough experience with them to say either way, but I've heard great things. They have B2B online, we would drop ship. And then if we were to get a key account through them that required warehousing, then we would warehouse in one of their DCs. But I don't think they have a strong presence with DCs on the East Coast. I could be wrong. And maybe that's changing soon.
Okay. So they don't like backhaul or like come pick up. You would have to freight it to them, like ship to their warehouse.
Yeah, or direct to the account through dropship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I would be interested because last year I was considering them, so I might reach back out because they're just distribution. They're like Fair, but not directly to the consumer or right. It's not B2B.
They'll do it both. They do it both ways.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it'd be so much fun to be up at PopUpGrocer together. It's so cool. We have 3 women-owned brands from Asheville in pop-up right now, and I know there's probably a few others who are going to have theirs soon. After they watch our experience for the summer.
Right.
It's a great time. Like right now we have fancy food show going on in New York. We have good merchant show, good food show. There was BevNet Live. There's so much going on in New York right now. So I'm really hoping a lot of those buyers stop by PopUpGrocer and see what some of these like new emerging brands are doing. And yeah, I hope it's a big success for you this summer and we can keep hearing from the influencers that stop by there. Are you planning on heading up at all?
I'd love to. I've never been to New York. This would be a great business trip. But yeah, I think creating content would be really helpful. I haven't gotten any direct from them and I didn't expect to, but driving people there that are already in New York. I know that we already have, quite a big fan base out there. Do you know what their marketing seems to be more like overarching versus like brand specific.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. And I think they're still building a system too. This is the first time they've had a permanent location. It was, this pop-up model, but I know they have other locations around the country now. So there is opportunity for all of us brands that come through there in these cycles to have presence at their other locations too. I know they're doing something with Nordstrom's right now. And so I think it could lead to like a longer term partnership with them as they grow. And you guys, I mean, at Darë, you're building like, would you say you have a cult following in a way? And I don't know, how do you define that? Because I checked out your social media and people, they will probably pay whatever you price your product at because it's so good and it's so unique. There's just not a lot of competition out there.
Right. Yeah, the cult following is for real. And we're trying to, I did get a little bit distracted with distribution, and it's fantastic that we're in grocery now, but this year it's kind of like pulling it back into how do we support those people that are so willing to pay for, what we create, and how do we continue to create new things to keep them interested and excited about our brand. Because there's only 3 of our products we can get in groceries. So we're like, yeah, you can get us at Whole Foods, but they're like, well, what about this? And what about this? And are you going to do this? And so like continuing to support and make those people feel special is like really important to us, because we wouldn't have gotten to this point without them. So yeah,
Yeah.
but the cult, like make sure the cult is fed is is real.
So did you, you started as a farmer's market brand, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Are you still doing markets?
Yeah, so we do North Asheville every Saturday, which is always great. I did a veg fest yesterday in Durham. So we do usually during the summer, like 1 a month of those. And that kind of helps sales where our groceries are and people that have never heard. It's our target market. So it's really helpful to do stuff like that. And then other events I've been looking at is some like more North Carolina centered, oh my gosh, what is it called? Something at the farm. Charm at the Farm. I
Okay.
heard that that's one of the best events in North
Okay.
Carolina.
Huh.
I think it's in September. They do it twice a year. So we're trying to step outside of just doing vegan specific, because it is so awesome when we get people that are either dairy free or just interested or just open to
Yeah.
trying, because then they spread the web bigger, and it's
Yeah.
not just vegan people hearing about us. So, and then Atlanta Mart, I missed that this year, but I think
That was
that's
the
this
first show I
week.
ever did. America's
Yeah,
Mart in Atlanta. Yeah.
yeah.
That was an interesting experience. It's intense. I think it was 5 days.
Okay.
And it was our first show. So my husband and I went, and it was like, we didn't have that, like the skills of pacing yourself at a trade show. And it was very challenging. But it was fun because we were writing orders and setting up new accounts. It wasn't just like some of these shows. It feels like really just marketing and exposure.
Mhm.
And it's tons of follow up, but yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, I think it's more, there weren't very many beverages. It wasn't like heavy on food, but I don't know. I would check that out. And yeah, I heard a stat that 95% of consumers who buy vegan products, only 5% are actually vegan. Is that true?
Mm. I'd say we have a higher vegan count, but at this point, no, I would say it's maybe 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing that stacked, I'd be interested to see if it's less than that. Um,
But
but
I
we
think
do,
my point is like if you did like start marketing to non-vegan events and people, that might change, right? Because I
mhm.
think non-vegans are seeking out plant-based products in at a very fast growing rate.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially like we get a lot of older people that, it's like cholesterol or sodium, or there's some allergy that they've come across, and they're not vegan. They're not even, they eat meat. They, like they're not dairy free. They want to be, or something like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, that market has been supported from the beginning, but has not been tapped by us quite yet. That's smart though.
Well, and something I love about your product is, and it stands out because it's not made, it doesn't have like fillers and gums. So before we end, why don't you tell folks what is actually in your product and how clean the label is?
Yeah. So our main ingredient, we call it curd, is 4 ingredients. It's organic cashews, organic coconut milk, water, salt, and our culture, which is the microbes that flavor our cheese, which totally sets us apart. I did so much work to find which culture married with which medium to make that wow factor that actually tastes like cheese. So 4 ingredients as the base. We add organic coconut oil, and then the things that flavor it. So the majority of our wedges have less than 10 ingredients. They're whole ingredients. They're made by the planet. Nobody had to make it in a lab. That's like super important to us. our sales guys, he says, you know, most vegan cheeses is like licking a tire, that like
Oh, God,
aftertaste
it's so bad.
is like rubber and plastic. And then you look at the ingredients and you're like, what did I just eat? Do I feel good about
That
this? Is
really
this
better for me and the
right?
planet?
Right. This alternative is, sure, it's an alternative, but it's both gross and bad for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was the intention and the mission of the business, was to create something that was delicious, but and you don't feel like you're giving something up, and you don't feel like you're making yourself sick to do it. Because, you know, dairy doesn't agree with me very well. I wanted the alternative to give back to my body, not take from it. So that will never change. That is the mission of the brand. We will always put the ingredients and how it creates the best product first, for sure.
And it is delicious. It really is. So I hope you get lots of orders after we post this, and I know you already are, but yeah, I really like the visual of licking the tire. I mean, that's very appropriate. You should do it like us and them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, is this really better? Yeah, it's
You're bringing back the goodness in plant-based foods, because I feel like there were some products that started getting out there and kind of creating a bad name for plant-based because they're actually so processed and so fake and so artificial. And this is completely the opposite of that.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. And I love I mean, drinking your product is it feels good. You know what? It gives me the right amount of caffeine. It's not too much sugar. It tastes good. And there's so many different options. So you're never bored. So you keep doing what you're doing, because it's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. And hopefully we'll be brand buddies soon, and we can have both our products at the table in all these new shared stores that we have.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep growing. Strong women got this.
Keep growing. Thank you, Gwendolyn.
Of course, Sarah.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye.